Hello, today I'll be talking about the device that I wanted to exist for many years. Even before FiiO started thinking about it, I really wanted something like that, and it appeared in shape of FiiO's R7 player. I will tell about technical specifications and what is it for and so on a bit later. Just wanted to show you the box. It's actually looks this way because it opens like this way. So it's traditional FiiO's black cardboard box with glossy polygraphy, but I have a lot of things to tell you, so let's keep unboxing with some video editing magic. Inside of the box, happy buyer of this $700 device will get power cord, regular USB Type-A to USB Type-C cable, some sticky stripes, I think to glue it to the bottom so it will be not that slippery, but I'm not sure here. 6.3mm adapter and extra fuse, also small cover to cover the Pentagon, not Pentagon, XLR connector on the front side of the device, and two stands. So if you will be using this on the desktop, it's not always convenient to use it with this angle because you're looking by pretty sharp angle to the screen. So you can use with one of these two rubber stands. It's actually rubber, but pretty heavy one. So you just putting device on it and it will be a bit angled, so it will be more convenient to use it. Or if you want to stand it, to put it really flat, you can use the second stand that is supplied with it. But let's go back and speak about the device itself. What is it? Actually, basically, you know, it's a desktop audio player, but filled with all traditional functionality of modern Android digital audio players. We are going really beyond the basic playback of the music. So it's built with ESS9068 chip with dual THX AAA amplifiers, and it's able to deliver 3.6 watts per channel for 32 ohms load, so it's pretty powerful. And at the same time, you know, it's relatively lightweight. I expected it to be heavier. And you're getting a 5-inch or even bigger, but probably 5-inch HD screen. And about the design we'll talk a bit later. So it can connect to Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and you can even connect it via Ethernet. And it supports streaming services, it supports Roon Ready. It can play local files, can access your network attached storage. You can actually connect keyboard or even mouse to it and remote control. And even you can use this port to the external display or TV because it supports video out with this thing. So it's not a full replacement for regular video media player, but it can do really tons of things. You can watch video with it, at least some YouTube, but for that it's probably better to use some more video specific device. But of course main purpose here is to listen to the music, and I wanted such device for really long time. I wanted something without batteries because fiddling with accumulators for the daily used desktop device means that batteries will die really soon. So probably I convinced you about the versatility of this device, but like vast majority of viewers on my channel already knows about it. And in the next part we'll talk about the design. In my opinion, it looks great. Actually, it's made of metal, you can feel that it's heavy, but honestly I expected this device to be heavier. FiiO have pretty interesting plans about the releasing of the whole like entertainment system. They're planning to release active speakers and full-size headphones that will complement this device in terms of design and other stuff. And on many promo photos also present white version of this device, but I've got a black one and I'm totally okay with that. So as you can see here, used the signature hexagonal shape, and there is some protective grill underneath, and under that grill you can see actually some internals. When it's lit properly, actually if someone will buy it, you can just take flashlight and enjoy the internals. And on this side it's also the same, so some ESS big shield, silver one, you can see inside, and THX, so really interesting to explore the internals, but I think photos with disassembly will be available soon on the market. On the front panel we got 5-inch screen with 3 Android buttons underneath. Screen is good, I will show it in the next part of the video with nice viewing angle, brightness and so on. On top here is volume control, it's encoder based, and also you can click it to turn it on off and switch modes if it's online. And for positional toggle to select output, so headphones out and then power out, preamplification and line out. In these modes actually it will activate different inputs and outputs based on the functionality, and here you'll get 3 outputs to rule them all. So 4-pin XLR connector for full-size balanced headphones, Pentacon for all modern headphones with balanced out, and regular single-ended 3.5 connector. So basically you get all necessary outputs, or actually maybe it's not Pentacon, let's check out. So I expect it to be Pentacon, but not sure here. And yes, it's a 6.3mm out, so 2 single-ended outputs and 1 balanced. But luckily there are a lot of adapters now, so you can use all these outputs in any combinations. And on the back side we can see a huge variety of different things. So here we're getting another chance to look inside, and this time even without the grill. Full-size SD slot with already pre-installed adapter for micro SDs, so you can put some really big storage card here. Let's push it back. Here located Wi-Fi and Bluetooth antenna, actually really good connection quality. With my new Asus router I'm getting really good connection speeds. So line out single-ended, line out balanced. Also USB Type-C and USB Type-A. This one works as USB host, so you can connect it to traditional digital to analog converters. And this one is totally universal. External drives using it as digital to analog converter. What else? Connecting to smartphones and many other things. And full set of optical in and coaxial in, optical out and coaxial out, and also Ethernet connector. And you can power it 2 ways. You can connect it to regular outlet and it will use internal power supply unit, or you can connect it to the external 12 volts DC adapter. You can use one that's supplied with M17 or Q7, for example, but of course much more sense will be using that FiiO PL50. Actually I've got it too, and actually it improves the sound a little bit, improving imaging and making background even blacker. Or actually you can go full bananas and you can buy some charging station or big capacity power bank that supports 12 volts output and turn it into some kind of portable device. So as you can see, compact but powerful and multifunctional device. In terms of operation system, here we have traditional familiar Android 10 with Play Store and other additional services that we are familiar with from FiiO. There are some slight additions, like for example this FiiO custom screensavers, like this one with analog watch, and also some other things. So let's take a look what we've got here. Basically it's traditional Android. Probably I will lift it a bit up to make it visible. So here is separate FiiO Roon and applications. It's FiiO's list of streaming services and other useful apps that you can fast and easy install here. For example, if you don't want to log into Google Play, for example, by some reasons or something like that, so you can use browser, but Play Store is also available, and so on. Traditionally we have this top drawer with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, then mode selector, but there is a better way to select modes. We'll show you 5 levels of gain: low, medium, high, super high and ultra high. Activation Roon, auto DSD upsampler, and actually here you can use it freely because it doesn't consume more battery. It's a benefit of using desktop power supply. Dark theme, night light, rotation screen, and so on. And there are a few interesting additions. So short press of this button activates screensaver, and in 2 minutes, or the option you'll set, it will actually turn the screen off, and this lights too. And if you hold this button for a bit longer, you'll get to the mode selector. Android mode, it's traditional mode with launcher. Pure music is when launcher is replaced by FiiO Music, and that's it. Then AirPlay receiver, USB digital to analog converter mode, Bluetooth receiving mode, coaxial mode, Roon ready, and optical mode. And you can change this with volume controls, and simple press will allow you to change modes. And here is power off button if you need that. And here you can change volume. Pretty nice indicator. But we've got a few extra things in the settings which are pretty interesting. Here you can also get to the mode selector, actually not that fancy one that we can get with this button. Wi-Fi, Bluetooth. So audio settings, or you can select activate on off optical coaxial output, SPDIF out, how to transfer DSD there, 5 levels of gain, like let's turn it to medium, and it's still red. I'm not sure why they selected this red for the color of this GAUG. Yeah, I think it will be more sense to change it with gains. Low pass filter mode, then you can select what Bluetooth codec you'd like to use. And for the LDAC you can select what sampling rate you want. And for LHDC, so there is a huge variation from 900 kilobits per second to 256. Different optimizations for the connection quality. Channel balance, auto DSD upsampler, it actually improves a little bit treble if you want to make it to make treble layering more highlighted. It works this way, at least for my ears. And the second harmonic regulation, actually I prefer to keep it at 0 level, because adding it makes sound like more fancy but less natural for me. Let's go back, and in display settings you can select to display sample rate or not. You can activate dark theme, and actually it's pretty good option for the desktop device in my opinion. Brightness level, also you can set these two indicators, you can sync them working together, or you can select changing color based on the resolution of signal, or you can select this pulsing light. I'm not sure why FiiO didn't add changing brightness based on the volume level like it was in previous device, but probably I really hope that it will be added later with software updates. Night light, it's typical Android setting. You can change wallpapers. I really like the idea that you can add live wallpapers, for example. Timeout to turn off the screen, and actually screensaver. You can use system ones or for personalized screensavers by FiiO. And also this button works great. and you will get the FiiO music, but I don't think there is much sense in describing FiiO music. I did that many times, and like a lot of people saw FiiO music, it's just modern feature-packed player with a lot of functions that are really convenient, so I won't be doing walkthrough with FiiO music today. So let's go to sound better. And of course about the sound, first of all I need to apologize, I made a mistake. It's actually a Pentacon balanced output. This is XLR balanced output, and it has just one single-ended output. It's 6.3mm. So for 3.5mm you have to use adapter. So it has two most widespread balanced connectors. So you'll be able to drive your headphones to maximum potential if you'd like. But actually, you know, difference between balanced and single-ended output here is almost unnoticeable. With some headphones it can give you a wider stage, but it's not a big difference. Of course, I am not speaking about the case when headphones really need tons of power, and in this case, of course, balanced out will be more efficient. In general, in terms of sound, it's that another iteration of the sound FiiO delivers with their recent devices. It's a bit of K9 Pro, a bit of M17, bit of Q7. In general, it's natural, really technical sound signature without attempts to colorize something, but at the same time with crazy dynamics and good emotions representation. So don't expect some coloration, just natural signature, but not monitoring, not sharply focused on the micro contrast. And actually bass goes deep, it really resonates low, it controlled really well, it's saturated with small nuances and bringing you a lot of details. So it's controlled perfectly and stays on its place in 99% of cases. And of course, if you need like more weight or more punchy bass than it is in the records, it's not an option for you. But if you want just to get what is present in the record, this device will give it to you with absolutely perfect control, and with great records you'll get perfect output. So my first example, it's My Baby Just Care For Me by Nina Simone. It has really interesting acoustic bass part, and it delivers nice with good sense of realism and rendered nicely. And I also wanted to try something electronic, and I selected some in FiiO Music, something in their new section, and it's Charli Brix 50-50, nice, a bit trippy piece of electronic, but with interesting and mighty bass line, and this device delivered also without any issues. You know, when you can deliver up to 3.6 watts of power per channel, like controlling and delivering good bass is not an issue in vast majority of cases, of course. Mid frequencies are natural, it will give you great resolution, but won't be focused on the micro contrast, so it's not an option for those who like absolutely monitoring dry representation. No, it won't be focused on that, but at the same time it requires some really good mastered tracks and really well recorded ones, because it just not highlighting anything except of dynamics, and because of that boosted, actually not boosted but crazy dynamics, because it represents what is present in the track, but doing it absolutely great. And that dynamics mean it will deliver you good emotions, it will be great in terms of transitions, and of course normal good resolution without focusing on the micro contrast will give you great sense of realism, proper weight distribution if it's present in the record. So a lot of things depends on the track quality itself, but of course with the desktop device you'll have a lot of options to experiment with different masters, with different sources, streamings. You can integrate it with your Roon library, you can use it as a standalone player or Apple Music as I use it now. So lot of different options are possible, and it's pretty good here. Imaginary stage is noticeably above average in width and in depth, like with this good dynamics, it allows it to build a really good depth layering, and the natural but resolving nature of mid frequencies and other part of sonic spectrum will deliver you a good width. So nice three-dimensional positioning, all that sense of presence will be delivered to you nicely. Actually, K9 Pro does it even a bit better, but anyway, it's still a good option. Okay, go back, wake up, we need some examples for the mid frequencies. So first one is tricky, overcome. I wanted to get something saturated, and 90s trip hop was a really good option, and this track is filled with different samples but also vocal and lot of interesting stuff, and actually it's trippy, and this device delivered really well, separating voice and sample part and all other part of the tunes. But of course, true test for the mid frequencies is some well recorded classical music, and who gives us best classical music if not Berlin Philharmonic Orchestra, and this time it's Pierre Boulez as a conductor. It's a really good performance of Boléro by Ravel, and you know this piece of classics, that slow appearance of one instrument by another. Each one requires great resolution, great control, and then in this final part it's absolutely gorgeous full orchestra, showing you what symphonic orchestra can do and why actually people invented big symphonic orchestras. And this device delivered really well. It builds necessary stage for you to enjoy. At the same time, it gives you nice performance. It's here a matter of taste, because a lot of people actually like absolutely natural and monitoring signature with classical music, but for me it's losing a bit of emotions, so I prefer more natural but balanced way of delivering without excessive focus on the micro contrast. And actually FiiO recent tunings are just hitting into my sweet spot here, so I really enjoyed the sound of this thing with Meze 109 and with Meze Lyric and with a lot of other headphones and earphones I tried. And treble. Actually, treble is also mostly uncolored, really good saturated, well performed with nice layering, good, not great, but really good. So nice saturation with overtones, both basic and more extended ones, without any attempts to soften treble or highlight it. So if you use to soften treble, it can be a bit too harsh for you, but in general it's not sound harsh to like to people who like who is not sensitive to treble, who like perceive treble normally. And because of that, it gets that airness, gets the sense of saturation, realism for instruments, realism for imaginary stage, because usually treble play a big role in building that sense of airness and spaciousness, and it's also a case for that. And I thought about some good examples for the treble, and actually I decided to go to the game soundtracks, because it's my second hobby. I like playing Nintendo Switch, not going to go some more serious gaming, but one of the greatest recent releases was port of Nier Automata to Switch, and of course soundtrack is one of the crucial parts of this game, so I selected Faltering Prayer, but every single track there can be used here. Perfect work of composer, great vocal, great performance, all that really nicely recorded and delivered with a good sense of airness, spaciousness, and with that lot of decaying overtones too. And then I thought, like, let's go full classics in terms of soundtracks, and it's Nobuo Uematsu and Final Fantasy VIII, Don't Be Afraid. Nice, forward, upbeat track with also nice quality of record. Of course, not like superb as symphonic orchestras in general, especially like if we take something like Deutsche Grammophon records, for example, but still nice record with good, not overbloated treble area, and at the same time not spoiled with compression artifacts or something like that. So sounds also pretty airy and engaging, and of course this device also delivers it well. Speaking about pairings, like it's totally universal. It can drive almost any headphones with maybe few exceptions, but I don't have, of course, Susvara or Abyss, but actually I'd try, because chances are pretty high that maybe not Susvara, but at least Abyss, it will drive not perfectly, but pretty nicely. And all other headphones are just sounding full-bodied with good juice with it, absolutely no problems. And what is also a pleasant surprise, that it has a really black background. If you select medium or low gain, you can listen to sensitive in-ear monitors without some hiss, background noise or something like that, especially if you will use offline music. Speaking about the comparisons, actually I don't have another devices like that. Shenling's EM5 that I also used and pretty enjoyed, actually it was spoiled by few recent updates. They broke usability. I don't know why they did it, but it like started annoying me with firmware. In terms of sound, actually for the headphones, this one is more powerful, with better control, with better nuanciation, with better dynamics, and so on. Shenling released EA7, but I won't be able to hear it probably in some near future, and I'm not actually really going to try hard to do that, because I'm satisfied with all that R7 gives me. But actually, if local distributor will get it, I will ask for a loan. And actually K9 Pro, it's a bit more refined in terms of treble and in terms of stage building, and also it gives a more sense of realism on the mid frequencies, but a little bit. So if you have K9 Pro, actually there will be some sense in using them together. But if you don't need like absolutely best sounds that FiiO can offer, you can trade K9 Pro for this device and actually enjoy it pretty nicely. But it's still subjective choice, of course. M17, like they're pretty close. M17 does dynamics even a bit better and actually has a slightly higher resolution, but difference is not huge. And Q7 is pretty close to this one in terms of sound, but doing treble also a bit better. And other devices, I don't think it's fair to compare it with some battery power players, because like it doesn't have these limitations in size and in power or something like that. So here was FiiO R7. You know, when it was announced, it was really met with a lot of skeptics on the Reddit, and they said that no one will need it. I'm not sure about here, because I really need it and I like it. I will use it. I will use it with PL50 most probably, so it's a device that perfectly suits my needs, and it delivers great sound and tons of features, so I really like it. So, and thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and have a great day.